Hey guys, On here. I know it's been a while since I put out anything where I've actually spoken, but get used to it. I'm trying to do this a little bit more consistently. Today we're going to be talking about something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, which is Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I've done 3 separate fan arts for this show since it released back in 2023, and I just wanted to talk about why I was inspired to do it. Now, for clarification, this isn't going to be a video essay talking about the show's story or anything of that nature. However, if that's something you're interested in, I'll include a link in the description to Pay Talk's Anime and his channel. He has a video essay series called Analyzing Frieren. It's fantastic. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. When Frieren had initially come out, I was still working at my old job and trying to do more digital art, trying to find time to do more art, because I'd been drawing less and less at that time. And when I'd first started watching it, it was such a breath of fresh air. Now, I've been watching anime forever, and over the years I've specifically found fantasy anime to be lacking, particularly because so much of it falls into the isekai realm, which always feels like a half-assed way of approaching the genre and trying to leave yourself an out to not have to do the fantasy thing anymore. And that always removes some aspect of the stakes or the intrigue because it's under this guise of fantasy in an MMO sense, not really true high fantasy. And as a long time, Dungeon Master and player for Dungeons and Dragons, Frieren scratched an itch that I'd forgotten I had with anime. Good world building explained diegetically without exhausting lore dumps, characters that are flawed and endearing rather than being piles of ticks and quirks with exceedingly well animated jiggle physics, and simple, understated stories about, people, specifically about a person revisiting their own life story and combing it over for things that they missed the first time, like finding a new detail to love in a favorite film. Something about the care and attention to detail the show expressed and the way it took its time with even the smallest things made me reevaluate how I was spending time outside of work, and it made me want to make more time for my art. So I did. I drew on my breaks at work, I drew before bed and on weekends before I went out anywhere. Perhaps it sounds a little cliche, but watching Frieren and eventually Delicious in Dungeon and Laid Back Camp, I rediscovered an appreciation for simple, understated storytelling. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would disagree with me, maybe because the show just isn't for that. Maybe you don't have the 2020 hindsight yet to wish you had done something differently, or maybe you don't really have the interest in looking back at moments in your life, favorable and otherwise, to find things that you may have missed or context you may have overlooked in a conversation with someone you care about. Or maybe you're just one of those people who started crowing, "Oh my god, My Hero Academia fell off," the second the show became about something more detailed and nuanced than just Deku Smash. And that's all fine and well, but, here's a challenge for you. I want you to come back to Frieren in 10 years and see if you feel the same way. Now, I've always had an appreciation for stuff like this in anime. I mean, some of my favorite shows are things like Wolf's Rain, Witch Hunter Robin, Kino's Journey. I have a long and intimate relationship with shows that do very slow and, for lack of a better word, I guess I would call it delicate storytelling, where everything is handled with care and everything is given the same amount of attention, and all of it comes back together towards the end. And I think one of the things that I ended up liking a lot about Frieren as a show is what it represents for fantasy anime moving forward. That is, creating a space where more people are excited to engage with and talk about and anticipate future seasons or future chapters of shows where the character's personality isn't tied to their power level, or shows where it's about a story slowly unfolding and characters growing as people and not just, characters fighting, because Solo Leveling has beautiful fight scenes. It's beautifully animated, but Genu is not a very complicated character. Sword Art Online has great music and is probably one of the cutest shoujo romance stories I've ever watched, wrapped in a shonen fucking spring roll. And that's all great, but I think once in a while we just need more shows like Frieren. We need more shows like Spice and Wolf. Things that want to tell simple, kind of more mature slice of life stories that aren't about high school, you know? And I don't know, maybe I'm alone in the thought process of, you know, we need more anime that aren't action oriented. But that being said, Frieren easily made its way into like my top 10 shows of all time and made me make more room in my life for stuff that I enjoy, much the same way that Frieren does as a character. But with that said, thank you guys so much for listening to me yap and ramble. I'll be putting out more videos like this soon, and some others. So if you like this, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff. I have links in the description for my Blue Sky if you want to see other art that I've made and keep up with the stuff that I do as I'm doing it. There will also be a link to my Ko-fi page, because that's where I take my commissions, in case you might be interested. And that aside, I hope this inspired you to maybe go out and watch something, make something, just do something today. Have a great night.